temple architecture hall, that there must be denuding, and this denuding is Nagni Karan. It's when we commit whatever we perceive or feel or whatever happens in our head, we commit that to memory. This committing to memory is denuding. It's disembodying. So what is there in the memory are only figures or bijas of things. Memory only is a storehouse of these bija. That looks very close to Buddhism, but there is interesting issues in that. What is Swarglok? Swarglok, or what is Parlok? Parlok is our memories, and where Nagnas live. And a Bhaiji is one who doesn't fear any of his Nagnas, and is always carrying a battle against his Nagnas, against our memories. Memories have two kinds of content, according to Vaisheshan. One is the content which comes from our experience. When you denude the experience, it becomes memory. And another is when we finish any action we start, any effort, mental effort one starts, it goes into physical effort, and there is no end to it. It just goes into reality, into matter and things like that. But the end of that is conceived, and is thought that the end of any action is terminal of any action is in memory. We know each other's actions. The terminal is in memory. So memory has two kinds of contents. One content which is from the experience denuded. Another content from the actions denuded. These two contents form Parlok. And to be an artist, I mean these artist people like this, one has to be fearless. One has to conquer this realm of Nagnas, realm of impressions, Saskar, Sanskriti. This is Parlok, Sanskriti is Parlok. And this realm, one has to conquer it. That one has to become as intimate as one can with memories. If one can do that and have a conquest of memory, then there will be imaginations which will lead to, from Parlok, bringing a personality like this boy onto a canvas. This process of bringing this boy onto the canvas will start. So there is a cycle. This is a cycle which I yesterday referred to between Kalp, Vikalp, Sankalp and Lal cycle. So we are going to go now deep into the cycle. So yesterday what I had established was that there are sort of Bijakshara, which is very different from Brahman and very different from Sharyaka. And that Sarg is there, that evolution is there from there. With the help of, that is, because of this evolute, the Uttam looks Shara. It's a Maya beach, Maya beach. And I said that there are all kind of Sarg happens, all kind of aksharas come up, small, different, and other mixing with other Sargs happen. Very complex procedures happen in that. And today, that there is Sarg is organized in some cycle. All sargas are organized in some cycles. And this cycle is a cycle of the nudification, and the cycle, the other element is of re-embodiment. Sarivikaran or Nagnikaran. These are two processes in the Sarg, which we call as art. But this is also very extensive definition because many more activities get included in it. Perhaps all activities which we do are not re-embodiment. In what sense are all activities not re-embodiment? Human beings do activities. Is there activity which we do which is not of the nature of re-embodiment? Of some entity in Padlok, or some relation, or some reality of Padlok, is not being sought to be made work of art. So, are there such sort of activities which we do, which in fact this question is actually a beginning of a moral inquiry into art. This question is where the moral inquiry into the sort of universe of arts is raised. And come back. There is another lesson which we see from this story. Because Brahma has said, now you are no longer Raiji, who fights one's own intricacies. A person who can conquer life is well versed in fighting one's own intricacies. That is a insufficiently rich human miracle. And from now on, after having learned the process of re-embodiment, to give a different rebirth to that personality from that low. After learning that, you are now Nagnajit. You are not a person who has conquest over your own fears, your own intricacies of your meditation, intricacies of meditation. But you are a person who knows how to conquer Nagnas. You are Nagnajit. Since then, Nagnajit is Krishnized, or is birth of Nagnajit happens. And the birth of Nagnajit is the birth of Chitrakala. So that becomes, but so two processes which we must inquire, logically or otherwise, is one the process of renewing and the process of embodying. And we'll do this over a couple of days, look into this process in much more detail. But today, it was more like how does one look at an originary movement of art. Originary movement of art is looking almost cosmologically. Cosmologically, one is looking at art, other universe of art. So if you look cosmologically, you have Akshara there, and you have recursions of Akshara and intersections of Akshara. This is the kind of image which is there after Akshara. And there is, now let's move to the fourth story. Just I begin summarizing of the third story, but let's listen to the fourth story. A fourth story is Natya, but that is birth of not just image, but birth of relationship. That's true. So these three stories dealt with birth of image, which gives the originary movement of image. So there is one of the interesting theorem which Descartes gave in the preface to his work, and that was whatever is deep is the oldest. So if you go into depth, plunge into depth, and if you go into age, they are identical. That is some kind of a reduction theorem which makes the class of knowledge possible. So this originary story of art tells about the character of the discipline, or character of art. So the three we have. So the fourth one. The fourth one is that there is Satyug is coming to its end because of its own weight. Satyug is, why is it coming to an end? What's wrong? Why can't Satyug be perpetual? I mean, Satyug is one where, like Bhaijit, it was the one where everybody could undertake and fully explore one's own quest as much as the life allows. Everybody could explore one's own quest. What was wrong with that? One would have gone like that. No, it had its own weight. The weight was that there is a birth of bias which has come of a kind. In Satyug, there is some amount of complacency of quest. People who indulge in quest can do bias of excessive indulging in the quest and less excessive indulging in the quest. And this bias led to a situation where people were trying to shun away from Dukh and trying to sort of involve in the lure of Sukh. So a lure and avoidance were born in Satyug. When the lure and the avoidance is born, things go topsturvy. This is the weight of Satyug. Satyug has a description of his features like the kingdom, and Satyug has its own weight. And this weight once was there, everybody was very worried about this weight. What has to be done? Everybody was worried about it. So they came up with a kind of akshara, with a kind of idea that okay, the world has law of causality. There are things behaving with each other in terms of causation. The world is going on its own pace, universe. This has to be. Can we redo it? Can we sort of recreate this world, and world of our own liking, our own imagination? Can we recreate a world of our own imagination? And this is the world of Krida, is the world of our own imagination. Can we recreate that? So that whatever is happening here can be reflected on in this world. This is the world of Darshana. It can be reflected on whatever is going on in Satyug, can be reflected on this stage. So this is both is a story of the birth of this stage. I think one of, as I say, because sometimes there are certain lessons which I think the great art, the greatest of art, is that which recalls the story of its birth. That whatever art can recall, can reflect, can re-embody story of its own birth, I think is one of the foundational art. This kind. You have to look around for such things, and things probably there is an explanation of why we like some things compared to another work of art. But and what would be this? Where will it be? This world will be existing where? So they went to Brahman. Brahman gave a solution again. The world of art, he painted. He sort of worked out. And in this world of art which is entailed by this stage of imagination. Imagination is a stage on which there is an enactment being done by the body. We lend our body, when we act, we lend our body to some entities of Parlok. The bodies and the expertise and the sort of repeatable aspects of routines in our body which are there. These routines and are ended for various purposes which are discovered in Parlok. We all live in Parlok, dangling from Parlok. And there is an interesting side story which is very informative also. It's not a story, it's a saying. You have to be prolific. And the saying is that a tree is not born out of ground. A tree is never born out of ground. It's always born out of seed. We get impression the tree comes out of ground. But that is a realm of acquisition of world, which is a bit wrong. A tree is born out of seed, or tree, always. And similarly, the men don't walk on streets on the ground. Like trees are not born out of sand or land. Men do not walk on ground. Men walk on Parlok. All men, all the time, walk in Parlok. This is called Vichara. This is Vichara. All men always, the moment infant is born, infant, man, dying. We are walking, or all our ways are in Parlok, are in Naglok. And now, how does one, so Darshana becomes sort of a munch on which imagination is playing And not only imagination is played, the imagination is lent a new body, and this new body is displayed to, is expressed in front of people. These are samajik. There is a drashta, there is a shrota, spectator, which comes. So, not only that one's own imagination, it's more like collective imagination. Natya is there always in collective kind of imagination. And this is put forth to a community of artists, and who are spectators, whose bodies were not deployed. It's a partition. Some bodies were deployed to enact out Parlok. Other bodies were deployed to reflect out Parlok. So this is a manch has a reflective character, and this reflective character is born at the end of Satyug, and there sort of Krida, Shastra of Krida, of Manch, this is born in that occasion. And what should it be? This Manch should be one where all the spectators will be immersed, completely immersed. Now, spectators may not be completely immersed because of their own memories. Spectators have their memories, so they may not be immersed so easily into it. So, a stage should be such that full immersion should be there in that. That's a sadhanikaran. And in that immersion, they would reflect on the reflections, which is imagination. They will reflect on the imagination of the world sitting there. Because why did we need this partition between the spectator and the spectacle? And generation of spectacle, this is karta and bhokta division. How did it happen? It happened, I was thinking of next tomorrow saying this, but say now. It happens because of one ontological facticity, and which is that whatever is our anubhav, whatever goes on in our experience, the content which we can witness in our experience, that witnessable content of our experience, which is there, this witnessable content is to be enacted by the actor who is designer of the drama, etc. But this has to be displayed to everybody so that everybody can join in. But there is one restriction, very formal restriction which comes. The restriction is that the witness is utterly private. That witness is solitary. The way you can witness your own anubhav, experience, is not the way you can, or anybody of us can witness others' experience. It's a closed spectacle. Whatever goes on in our experience is a locked spectacle. It's locked circle. Anything which is locked circle has to break and then again form a locked circle, again break. So this is like rebirth. And so, under what condition can the solitary witness make others solitary witnesses participate? What is the condition under which other witnesses can participate. And this condition is that I must find a new body for my imagination. This is a condition to find new body for one's imagination, so that others can witness also what goes on in your own mind. So it's externalization. Sadhikaran is a whatever goes on in imagination, that is put onto the other body, like a painting. So because of this monadic nature, closed nature of self and of witnessing, the solitariness of witnessing, how does one make it public? Only way to make it public is to find a new body, so that indriyas can help. Indriyas can help, sense organs can help to visualize that. So my mind I have put into a piece of metal in which there is my piece of imagination. This is called the work of art. Precisely any work of art is this, an instance of this structure. That is why there is a partition between people, and this partition actually happened after Satyug, ethically. It happened after Satyug. The Shastra of Kira was born, a yuga which we know as walking on three legs. That is it's the story of that new yuga begins with this act of formation of life. And so there should be immersive situation, and there should be there is no distinction. It's the situation of the immersed person should be such that none of the memories should detract that person. There is, but then suppose there is a film going on, there are pixels dancing, because these pixels rub on our memory that the meaning of film is created. That meaning of film, once created, how does it sort of translate into a witness? Within witness memory, there are some portions which are public, which can be culled out, and those are to be witnessed. So whatever portions are there of imaginations of everybody, those are to be witnessed. This is imaginations of everybody is precipitate from memory, which are in use currently. It's a local memory, so there should be no strata, no type among all the witnesses, all the spectators. There should be no type, like this type, that type, this jati, that word, etc. There should be none. All should be equal. Whoever sits in this mind. What is the condition for art? Working out what is the condition for art. Anybody should be immersed completely. All the past should be forgotten. But on the other hand, we are saying that art is created on a body of pixels. This body of pixels is there on a wall, 2D wall. And this body of pixels is creating, by rubbing onto memory, the entire work of art. The entire meditation is recreated. So this recreation is also come out of memory. The obstacle which is there in being immersed, that also has come out of memory. That obstacle is also memory of people, as well as whatever is true, that spectacle is also because of memory of people. That's why I said there is a moral question born earlier. There is again, it is a moral question born here. Morality born apart. So, this should be one condition. Rest of the story is first chapter, last and other pieces, are discovery of various other conditions which will make arts possible. And these were the two conditions. For example, one, this is like a drama of a drama, a grand drama of a drama. One particular drama happens. The first, so 100 of people are given to Bharat, so that this may be put into practice. This idea, this akshara, can be put into practice. And hundreds of children were given. And these people are somewhat well versed in switching roles, in lending their body, and they have the profession of lending their bodies for whoever thinks is important, a classic or important thing to be done, to be recreated. They lend their bodies. These were the new class of people who were born in. They were born in Treta. Such people, they were actually born. And these people tried to work this munch or this nut. These are nuttals which enacted out, tried to work out externalization of very private, inertly private realm of witness to externalize to public realm. In this public realm is born various colors and various architectures of Parlok. We engage all the time, we all the time live in Parlok. On the architecture of society, of economy, this is Parlok. It's made of renewable things. It's made of forms of some kind. And but when the first act was done, and it was also said that what could be the content of what will be the values in this munch, etc. And it was worked out, it will be Darshana. Their content would be visual as well as sonor. Why? Is because out of the 5 sense organs which we have, only 2 sense organs have their objects removed from them. There is no proximity to objects. In smell, in taste, there is a proximity to object. In hearing and in vision, object is somewhere far off. And what is objectified here is right here. There's a big remoteness in that. So this proximity is there with 3 kind of sensations we acquire in the world. But 2 kind of sensations know how to dwell without their object being present. And 3 kind of sensations don't know how to dwell when objects are absent. Because the proximity of the object, the mechanism of the sensation is such that it requires an object. But 2 of them, objects can be replaced because they are ways of dwelling of these sensors, of vision and sonic sensors. It has a way of dwelling in which object can be is designer's object there, and one can design one's object. So if one has to imagine a smell, people say, and taste, they are very sister smells. They are the sort of sensors, very sister sensors. They come up, memory of one leads to memory of others, or etc. etc. and some structures are there. If you want to visualize, you need some object there. One can have to go to Darshana to visualize a flower for the smell. You need to put an object in Darshana. So two ways objects can be put, either to Darshana or to Shravan in this stage. And the stage, entire Vatavaran is of Darshana Shravan. So now this is much more specification of the story of Nandi. This is much more specification because enactment, the Sharirika is being dealt with here in this story. And then one referring to these stories and to Akshasar. And I'll take up things next. That is true. Tomorrow we will go into more details of what is art.
Here is a question.
Valmiki's first shloka, which comes from the shloka. Shloka. Look into that shloka. First shloka. What is that? What is that first shloka? You tell me that also.
Manishada Pratishtham Tvam Agamah Saraswati Samaha Yatram Samidhanadekam Avadihi Kamoham. Basically it's the case where here was a hunter who killed male bird which was along with its female bird copulating when this hunter's arrow hit the male bird and the female bird is weeping. And seeing this, the poet in Kavi and Valmiki shares that shloka, and out comes something out of his words. And Brahma later says that this is shloka, this should be called as shloka. And I just wanted to raise another aspect in the sense that when you refer to ants, there is a sense in which, say, this particular shloka and the shloka involved in it has been seen as a certain angst which is to be contrasted from, say, the angst that they are trying to make it. And this is something that has made a point in itself. Specifically, if somebody sees, say, like I heard a communist poet, Varvar Rao, once claim that
question is asked fine. Now, it's a Bij shloka, out of which it's like Bij Akshara. So, since drama is of two types, Aitihasik and Kalyalik, so Aitihasik is only one particular condition under which the audiovisual content can become Aitihasik or it remains Kalyalik. This is the beginning. So, in beginning of Treta, it's the story of Ramayana, is the story of Treta. So, it's the beginning of the Treta. So, that is a first sort of element in Itihas. The shloka comes out as first element in Itihas. And the munch is created where this can happen. And this becomes clear to, maybe it was clear always to Valmiki, but it becomes clear to the world in the end of Sita.
एक मेमोरी के बारे में जो आपने कहा,
उससे लेके थोड़ा स्पष्टीकरण मुझे लगता होना चाहिए। आप ये कह रहे हैं कि मेमोरी एक तरह का संस्कार है और उससे मुक्ति जरूरी है, कुछ भी क्रिएट कर। दूसरी ओर आप ये कह रहे हैं कि जब उसका संप्रेषण होता है, जो कुछ क्रिएट किया गया है, तो उसमें कॉमन मेमोरी काम करती है, जिसके कारण से वो संप्रेषित होता है। तो ये जो क्रिएट किया गया है, उसमें क्या वह मेमोरी के संस्कार शामिल हैं? इसको जो कैपिटल है या जो समाज है, सामाजिक है, वो उसे ग्रहण करता है कि कॉमन मेमोरी के कारण से। या सर आपका खाना कुछ पोर्शंस ऑफ मेमोरी में है, तो वो जो मेमोरी है वो अगर कृति में नहीं है और प्रतिकार में नहीं है, तो वो कैसे संप्रेषित हो?
जो प्रतिकार है उसको अपनी मेमोरी को, उसका एक काम है, वो उसको उसका संस्कृतिकरण करता रहता है। जो भी नग्न होते हैं उसको संस्कार कह देते हैं। उस संस्कृतिकरण की जो प्रक्रिया है वो ही आर्टिस्ट की स्किल्स है।
लेकिन संस्कृतिकरण तो कुछ संस्कारों के साथ ही होता है,
संस्कारों के साथ होगा, ये मेमोरी के साथ होगा।
और आपका पहला ये था कि उसको, जिसे आपने कहा कि उसको डिनोडेट होना होता है, जिसमें जो संस्कारों से अलग है।
नहीं, संस्कार तो वो परलोक हो गया, परलोक में हो गए संस्कार, और जो इच्छा शक्ति है वो ये इमेजिनेशन हो गई, और फिर ये संकल्प वो
प्रक्रिया तो समझ में आ गई, वो प्रक्रिया समझ में आ गई।
इस प्रक्रिया के बारे में ही देखना है। तो वो जो मेमोरी पे जो उसका कॉन्क्वेस्ट है, ये कलाकार का मेमोरी पे जो कॉन्क्वेस्ट है, वो मेमोरी को सिर्फ संस्कारीकरण करता है उसका।
हाँ, लेकिन संस्कार
कम नहीं होती।
संस्कार से मुक्ति के, अगर मुक्ति हो जाए,
हाँ,
तो क्या कृति संभव है?
मुक्ति के बाद जो कृति का
संस्कार से ऑब्जेक्टिविटी तो संभव है।
हाँ।
ये तो संभव है कि आप दूर से उसको देख सकें और उसको प्रस्तुत कर सकें, लेकिन संस्कार रहे नहीं उसमें, क्या ये संभव?
इस संभावना के बिना अक्षर नहीं,
क्योंकि जो आप
अक्षर जो है वो
हाँ,
संस्कार है।
मैं अक्षर के उसमें इसलिए नहीं जा रहा हूँ, कोई दूसरी फिलोसॉफिकल बहस हो जाएगी, इसलिए मैं केवल क्रिएटिविटी के बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ, आर्ट ऑरिजिन के बारे में। उसमें जाना एक दूसरी बहस हो जाएगी। लेकिन मैं सब, जैसे हमारे यहाँ प्रसाद एक बड़े कवि है, उन्होंने कहा कि काव्य जो है वो आत्मा की संकल्पात्मक अनुभूति, ठीक है, वो संकल्प वाला पॉइंट मुझे समझ में आता है, वास्तविक। लेकिन मेमोरी के बिना ये कैसे संभव होगा? मेमोरी में संस्कार नहीं है तो संप्रेषित कैसे होगा?
हाँ, तो वो नहीं होगा, मेमोरी जरूरी है उसके लिए। पर क्या है कि जब आप प्योर आर्ट का इशू रेस करते हैं, प्योर सिनेमा क्या है, प्योर पेंटिंग क्या है, ये अलग अलग शैली है ना जिनमें आई है, इसमें प्योरिटी का जब रेस करते हैं तो उसमें वो कम से कम संस्कार आ जाते हैं अक्षर तक। तो जो प्योर आर्ट है उसके अंदर संस्कार बहुत इथीरियल तरह से आते हैं।
प्योर आर्ट को रिसीव करने की, वो भी रिसीव होगा, तो प्योर आर्ट को रिसीव करने की जो सामाजिक है, उसको रिसीव करने वाला, उसकी क्या मनस्थिति होगी?
वो सामाजिक के बिना प्योर आर्ट है नहीं, और सामाजिक की जो इमेजिनेशन है सिर्फ अपने इच्छा, जो व्यक्तिगत इच्छा से जो इमेजिनेशन है, और एक सामूहिक इच्छा से जो सभी की इच्छाओं को देखते हैं, सभी व्यक्तियों को देखते हैं, जो इमेजिनेशन है उस सेकंड इमेजिनेशन में वो एक्सेप्टेबल है सामाजिक।
इसका तात्पर्य है कि सामाजिक स्मृति जो है, या एक सामाजिक प्योरिटी की स्मृति कह लीजिए, वो अनिवार्य है।
बिल्कुल, ये इसी को हम समाज कहते हैं। समाज शब्द जो है वो
ठीक है,
नाट्य से निकला है।
पर मुझे लगता है थोड़ा सा शायद इसको और अब ज़्यादा गहराई से स्पष्टता से क्लियर करते मेमोरी वाले पॉइंट को, तो बेहतर।
हाँ,
wanted to add one thing that you talked about these senses, all five. You said about smell and taste, they are close in a sense that you need that object to smell. But even if the object of the vision and the auditory, object is distant, you can actually feel. I think one more quality is there in these two senses, that they have scales.
They have
Scales. They have a scale. So
Scale.
in the vision, you
Continuous.
have yes. So they have a scale.
yes.
Like you have an auditory scale, of the frequencies and the intensity.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. Occurrence of scale is a byproduct of not having. You having a qualia, you having a quail, some sensibility, which doesn't require object to do. It is because of that reason scale can be invented. Scale is an instrument. So a scale is inventable in vision and in sound. But scale is not inventable because the object discretizes that. So interesting thing is, vision, we do sort of touch, for instance. When we have to touch, we have to visualize. And to have a sensation of touch within internal body, have to be invoked, made live, so that sensation of touch can happen. That doesn't happen with only these two objects, where scales can be invented. All scales are inventions, and a lot of interesting things about scales which we use, but I would think that scale is a product, can be inferred from just this aspect of object relations.
This is a couplet from Adam Tracks. Nasi.
No, इसका smell is riding on a murti है, your smell. तो your की एक वो मूर्ति बनाई उसकी. No. Smell is associated with the मूर्ति. No. The मूर्ति can be. Yeah. So, you have to invent the object. So the poet's burden was to invent an object. Then visualization then happens. No, that is fine. Descriptively, you may have triggered the process, but in terms of visualization of poem, it's that visualization, one integral. So it's a good poem. Poems मैं तो सुनता ही नहीं हूँ, तो मुझे सुनता ही नहीं कौन सी अच्छी है.
There is one instance in French literature, and which is actually, as you said, that all great arts also will internalize the instance of its origin. And this is a Proust novel, The Search of the Lost Time. And there he tastes, the narrator, dips
a certain kind of cake in the tea, this Medellin cake or something, dips in the tea and puts in his mouth to taste something. And suddenly, this sensation brings about all the imagination of his own life in very great details to his mind. And finally, this taste actually, what it does is, it evokes the image, something that you were saying, and it evokes the entirety of the image and the sound, and this is what the origin of this novel is actually. Search of the Lost Time, biggest book written in 20th century.